Welcome to the Faith Washington Show. I invite you to join me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We will discuss life, business, leadership, family, and fun, and what happens when your view of the world expands. A wide variety of guests will provide insight on how they do business, family, and leadership in their lives. So now, here's today's show. Hey, welcome tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are live on the Faith Washington Show page on Facebook. We are also live on 95.3 FM and 1470 AM and iHeartRadio app. Guys, I have Adam Klein with me tonight. He is a financial advisor. Stay tuned, okay? Don't tune out with that. Adam does some pretty cool things. So he is actually a native of Florida, and he started his career after school as a radio host on ESPN in West Palm Beach. So as a sports broadcaster. So he loves sports. He's familiar with radio, and it's just a pleasure to have you here, Adam.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Big fan of the show.
Awesome. I love to hear that. That's always a good thing. So I'd like to know, and I think our audience would like to know, how did you pivot from being an ESPN broadcaster to becoming a financial advisor?
I was very fortunate, actually, Faith. I was looking for something that was going to give me a new challenge in life, something that I could build on my own that was mine. Instead of going in and becoming a part of something that already existed, I wanted to build something from the ground up.
And we talked before the show, and you have a history. Adam has a rich history of parents and both sides of his family being entrepreneurs, which I love to hear.
Everyone started with nothing and built whatever their passion was, what they went into, whether it be in the medical field or straight business. And they hustled and they built so they could support for their families and have control over their own lives and the flexibility. And I guess that was in me. I didn't realize it until I got the opportunity to work for a large firm. And the rest 10 years ago is history.
Awesome. So did you feel like, what was the I guess the significant factor that created this pivot, this segue from doing one to the other? Did you not love it? Were you not challenged? What was the real?
I think the expectations were more than they ended up being for myself, and having control of my own life, the ability to grow from the ground up right here in the hometown that I was born and raised in, and help people in really what's become the new age of financial planning and investing and all the things that have gone on. I've been doing it 10 years, but it almost feels like 20 with all the changes that have gone on. I had no idea in July of 2007 what I was getting into when I walked into the office for the first time.
Wow, that was shell shock in the next couple of years.
Wow. Right? Wow. There was no way to predict. Well, I guess some people did, but as far as becoming a financial planner and helping people, there was no place to run and hide.
Wow.
It was just, what's your overall goal? Let's stick with that. Let's keep planning. Things will get better.
So do you feel like that was a challenge for you? I mean, obviously it was a shock, but it was a shock to everybody. So what do you feel at that point in time was the biggest challenge for Adam?
Keeping the relationships with clients.
There we go.
They wanted someone they could trust. Mm-hmm. It was not about returns or what happened in the market so much as staying focused on their careers, their families, and what ultimately was important to them. Okay. Because in the grand scheme of somebody's career and their saving and their planning for their future, the 15, 18 months that we really went through a tough time before things started to come back is a blip on the radar. We're going to go through something similar probably several times in my career.
We always do. In the financial markets, that's something that's unavoidable.
Absolutely.
It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It's just one of those things. And I think that what we spoke about before the show is that you're able to navigate that and collaborate with your clients and take them on a journey where they feel good about what's going on, what's occurring, no matter what's occurring.
Exactly, Faith. Everyone has their own goals. So if they stick with the plan and if they stay proactive and if our relationship continues to grow, because things change in everybody's life on a regular basis, annual basis. Yes. You have a child graduates, Unfortunately, people go through divorces these days more frequently than ever.
Yes.
Well, life does go on, and people need someone to turn to help them. Hey, I still have this goal of reaching at retirement, or I still want to send my kid to this college. Things have changed, so we're able to help them adjust on the fly as far as what their overall plan is going forward.
Okay.
So keeping those relationships with clients, having them trust me, having them know that someone is a phone call and email away, come on in anytime, what can we do, is all included in the service. It becomes very personal, but it alleviates that stress so they can focus on what they can control and need to, which is their family, their careers, their health, knowing they have someone in the back corner that is guiding them through what ultimately is a roller coaster.
Right, agreed. And that financial health and wellness that you actually bring to the table does decrease the stress in a person's life. I think it's incredibly important. And another thing is that the relationship piece is something that I always talk about with the audience and how I do business, building those relationships that are very clear, that are going to assist whoever it is that we're working with toward their goals. We have our goals too as entrepreneurs. However, I always look at it as the more people that we help to reach their goals, our goals will be met. We don't even have to think about that. That's not even an issue. So the relationship piece is enormous.
It's the most important part.
It's everything.
It's
building
what
relationships. Mm-hmm.
When I started, I didn't know that was such a big component. And then I started to meet with people, and they started to open up, and they trusted me. The knowledge that I have, the expertise in the field is very valuable, but they're also able to look across and say, hey, that's a guy from here. He understands. He didn't fly in on a helicopter to do this meeting. We didn't walk through security to get to his office. He said, hi, would you like a beverage? Tell me what can I help you with today? What are we here to accomplish? And I'm an open book. And I think that helps them when it comes to making decisions, that they enjoy working with me. At least I hope they do. Mm-hmm. And
I don't think they would stay with you if they didn't.
I don't think
That's
so
pretty
either.
easy.
Probably.
Yeah, if you don't like somebody,
there's always
you're not
someone
gonna stay with them.
else trying to. There's always someone trying to get them, take them away from me. But I think, like you said, the health piece is the same thing. Is people feel more confident and comfortable when they're getting regular checkups from a doctor, saying, "Hey, guess what? You're fine.
Yes.
Great." It alleviates that concern. Okay, I don't have to worry right now. And that's what we're doing. We are doing financial checkups that hopefully for some of the younger clients last 30, 40, 50 years, because I plan on doing this until they have to wheel me out of there. I love it.
Right.
And for the older clients, 25, 30, and then hopefully we do a lot, hopefully they pass on to their kids that they're working with someone, and I do a lot of generational planning.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
I've got great-grandparents down to great-grandchildren as clients. It gets confusing sometimes because I don't know who's calling, but it's great. It becomes like they almost welcome me into their family. Hey, this is Adam. One day you're going to invest with him. Right. So that's flattering.
So exactly. I think that's the relationship piece that, as entrepreneurs, you can't miss that. You have to take that very seriously. And if you're not able to build relationships, you need to have someone on your team who's capable of doing that and doing it well. Otherwise, you don't have a business.
No, it's like any entrepreneur. You want everyone has, they have a passion for what they're building, for why they're going to that business. Right. And that shows if they do. If they don't, it will also show. Mm-hmm. People can see how much I love what I do. Even when I'm out being social, they know they love talking to me about it, knowing there's someone right here having a drink with them that's an expert in something. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy the same thing. If I meet someone who's a chef and specializes in being I want to know what their specialty is. Can they make what I like? I want it. So it is the people aspect of the business that is what I really enjoy, and I think that's what helps me be successful. And any entrepreneur starting a restaurant, any kind of business, you want to create an environment that you're going to get the repeat happy customers. They want to know who they're working with. You want the flexibility. You want the unlimited potentials of your business to grow, and that comes from giving great service and having relationships with people. Right.
The great service is key too, is like always being able to speak to their needs. Like, you might not have all the answers, but if someone calls you up and says, hey, Adam, what about this? What about this? you might not know off the top of your head, but you're able to at least research and say, hey, something, look, this is what your goal is. This is what you're interested in. This is what you're asking me is veering off from that track. Are you sure you want to go there? And then you can always explain to them what the risk to benefit is. And then that gives them that peace of mind, which is really what you're doing, is you're giving them that health and wealth peace, healthy, wealthy peace of mind, which people really need. Because people work hard for their money. I don't know
Very
about
hard.
y'all, but I work my butt off for my money. And I always
hard.
have.
Very hard.
So I want to make sure that it's, being grown and taken care of and in the right places.
No, you're absolutely right. And, the health part of it is finances cause stress. Stress is not good for anybody. I am no means a
True.
doctor. That's the other people in my family. But stress causes all kinds of other issues. So if you can take something off the table, like, okay, we know at least our finances are secure. We have a game plan, a roadmap to where we're going to be. And if we keep doing this, statistically, we're 90% likely to hit that,
Right.
which is pretty good odds. I'd like to take that to Vegas with me sometime.
That's why the buildings are so big.
Yes, they are.
Not happening. Oh, wait, that's why bank buildings are so big, too. Just so you know.
Well, that is an important piece of it.
Yes,
So
agreed.
Absolutely.
And some of the things we spoke about, too, is like there were 3 things that you said that created that desire to be an entrepreneur, and kind of having seen that through your family tree. And that was the flexible schedule, who you work with. You get to choose who you work with as far as clients are concerned, and the unlimited earning potential. And I think those are very important pieces that we all as entrepreneurs look for. That's something that when you go out and do your own thing, this is a big piece of it, because you want to be able to be with your family when you want. I want to start my day at 4 a.m. I want to get up, do my thing, take my daughter to school, plan my morning, crush the morning, and then the rest of the day I'm going to work, but I know that I can do it the way I like to do it. I don't have to plan around other people.
And that's why you're so successful doing it, because you have a daily plan. While I'm incorporating
Absolutely.
lifetime plans and yearly plans for reaching financial goals,
Right.
successful people typically have a daily plan that they at least set in their head before they go to sleep at night.
Correct.
I have one too. I like to start my days off a certain way, a little bit later than yours, 4 a.m. Yeah.
Comes mighty early,
Yep,
folks.
don't call me that early. But I like to start my days, being proactive with work, so it alleviates what I have to do later. If anything, is returning emails, phone calls as quickly as I can, making sure I check my agenda for the day. People joke with me that I'm not in my office all the time, and that I have that they tease me about my flexible schedule. But I've created that, and nobody has an issue with it, because it frees up more time to meet new people, to be social with my clients and build more rapport with them. And if something comes up, guess what? I have the flexibility to go into my office and meet with someone if they need to.
Right.
But phone calls are always made ahead of time. Very few reactive things are done. Most of it's me reaching out initially, and it sets the tone for the day, like you said. And that's what I think makes an entrepreneur successful, is they look forward to getting up and doing that. I can't wait to see who called me or who emailed me for work. What good news do they have?
Right.
Is it a referral? Someone that they said, Adam, you absolutely have got to meet our neighbors. They are looking for someone just like you. We can't stop talking about what you do for us.
Awesome.
So it is exciting to get up and start that. And I think any entrepreneur, whether you opened a restaurant,
Doesn't matter what you do.
Right,
You
right.
get up and you're happy. It's there was a quote that you used, and it's not a job if you love what you do. You'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, I haven't worked in 10 years by that
we've
definition.
We've heard this before.
Yeah, I haven't worked in 10 years because I love what I do.
Right.
It's great.
And I think that the love of people is a huge must for entrepreneurs of any sort. Whatever you're doing is loving people, enjoying the way that you can assist them or guide them in whatever it is that their goals and objectives are. I think that if someone doesn't have that, you're going to struggle as an entrepreneur. You're not going to get the results that you really desire, because it's all about others.
It is about others, and everything is about providing service. And you mentioned that earlier. And there are things that you cannot guarantee in this world, but if you can guarantee your service model and you can follow it, and great service will provide the great results. Maybe not immediately, because there are some things beyond our control. We have no
Agreed.
idea what's going on up in Wall Street overnight. We have
Right.
no idea what's going on over in the Japanese markets, to get specific. But we do know that we can control, are we saving? Are we planning? Have we protected our family?
Right.
You know, are we watching our budget? Are we meeting with Adam so that he can make sure that we're updating all of our information on time and tweaking where we need to so we can continue to progress? Because we're light years ahead of where we were before we sat down with a professional and got the guidance we needed. So service, and you know, this is a people world. The machines have not risen up yet, like in the Terminator movies, and taken over.
And they're still not going to, as long as we have choice and free will. Yes.
So we need to work together, regardless of anything else. And yes, it's about service that provides the value. You know, I wish I could tell you that your account's going to be worth this, guaranteed in X number. There's no way to do that.
No,
Right.
no, nobody can do that. You can't do that in any business.
No.
It's just not.
You can't guarantee the
feasible.
meals that come out of the kitchen in a
Right.
wonderful restaurant. It's going to get messed up every now
Right.
and then.
Life is messy.
It is.
I tell people,
But
life is messy.
But Faith, if someone's there to say, we are so sorry, we're correcting it right now, we
Yes, own
understand
it.
you ordered the steak medium
Own it.
well, can we get you anything in the meantime? Guess
Right.
what? Eventually that's going to be a happy customer. They understand that there's a human back there making their
Yes.
meal.
Yes.
It happens.
And then you fix it. All you do is fix it. If you've made a mistake, you own it.
Own it.
You own it. You deal with it, and you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like we were talking about. You know, you're getting clients, you get business, you serve people, and they refer other people. It's one of those things where you do everything you can do the right way, and hopefully others will respond proactively. And if they don't, you move on. I always say that yes lives in the land of no. Yes lives in the land of no. So you get a lot of no's, you get a lot of rejection in any business, and it's just part of the gig. It's like, as long as you are an entrepreneur, you don't get crushed by that. You just keep moving through it.
Rejection in any part of life, socially, business,
It's going to happen.
anything. Asking for favors. You know, I should be a pro at getting rejected socially by now. Probably why I'm sitting here, you know, with you talking about this. 37 and single, and there's nobody waiting at home. So
He's single, ladies.
Yes.
Okay? There you go. All right. So this is something that you brought up that I thought was incredibly cool. What do clients choose? If you were to give them a menu, and we were talking about conservative people, midway, aggressive people, people who want to invest aggressively because they want to make that money quickly, or they think they do, so to speak. Go ahead and give that analogy, because
my new
this
analogy,
was
yeah.
so powerful and so
if there's an
cute.
attorney listening, I'd like to patent this so no one steals it, because it's going in my memoir. I think the best analogy I came up with for how I work with people, because people have all different risk tolerances.
Right, exactly. That's what
time
we're talking about, risk
frames,
tolerance. Okay.
Investment experience,
Right.
things that they are comfortable, where their friends said, don't ever do that for whatever reason. So what I like to do is invite them in. I'm setting the buffet. I'm putting out everything in there. If you're conservative, you may choose the vegetables and the fruits and the high protein and the low carbs, where the aggressive person is going straight for the double cheese omelet and the
Pancakes and
cinnamon roll,
waffles.
right? The chocolate chip kept saying, you know what, I'm only going to live once, let it
Right.
ride. I'll deal with the repercussions later.
Right.
Or I can always get more conservative and switch to vegetables next time. So it's my responsibility. Is I don't want people thinking that they are forced to invest their hard-earned money or their inherited money that somebody in their family earned as well. They're not going to be steered in one way or the other. Okay, so by setting the buffet, I'm also going to let them know that, hey, here is the value, the positives and the negatives of what you're taking to eat right now. This is going to be heavy in carbs and fat, but it's going to be less in sugar or something,
Right.
whatever you want, however you want to phrase it. But, and you can, so the negative stuff could be things like the risks, the fees.
Exactly.
Okay, nobody wants, if we could all eat at the pancakes in the buffet and withdraw the sugars and calories, that'd be pretty cool. But we can't do that. Some things just are associated with the line of work
Correct.
that I'm in. But if clients have a full knowledge of what is in each dish that they are being offered and have their own choice to choose from, they can then make the best decision for themselves.
Agreed.
And it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I want to see them invest. Yes, that's how I make a living, is by clients choosing to invest with me and do their financial planning with me. But it goes to the credibility and the service and the value that we provide when they say, you know what, Adam, I'm just not sure what you're talking about or what the chef put into that omelet over there. I'm going to stick with the fresh
veggies and
fresh
fruits.
raw veggies,
Gotcha.
and maybe I'll put a little dressing on them or something, and we'll take the OJ, and that's fine, because guess what? You can come back into the restaurant anytime you want and try something else. We keep everything liquid. We keep everything flexible.
Right.
Nothing is ever set in stone where you can't change what you're going to do.
Immediately, yeah. They can just make a phone call and you'll take care of whatever their needs are. Awesome. Which is really tremendous. I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking to be able to choose. And sometimes, if they're not educated or they're not sure how to do it, then you're able to provide them that information so that they can make a better educated guess. You know?
I get a lot out of educating people in what I have an authority in, so to speak. I don't know everything.
Well, nobody can in the financial markets.
I didn't bring the proverbial crystal ball in here where I can tell you what's going to be the next Amazon stock or Google to buy at $2.
You're supposed to know that.
I know.
Amazing Kreskin.
Exactly. I don't have that knowledge, but I do like that I have the authority to educate them, and I would say that the majority of the clients that I have really close relationships with, and there's some that just call me when they need something, and great. Fine, more free time for me to work with other people or go acquire new clients. But I think when they come in, everyone always looks a little edgy and nervous to tell me what's going on or look at the accounts together. By the time they leave, 30 to 60 minutes later, it's almost like you can see the sense of relief, and verbatim, they all say, I feel so much better after every time I speak with you.
Right.
In person, on the phone, I mean, verbatim, that is the language.
And that's the experience that your clients have with you.
That's where the value is. That's where I get a lot out of it, saying, okay, because it's kind of a thankless business. People expect you to make them a lot of money. They don't expect it to ever go down.
Right.
So to get a thank you is very uncommon. Now, I have a lot of clients that do. They're sweet older people. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for working with us. And these are people, I'm like, who doesn't want to work with you? You work hard. You got great accounts. Nobody would take it. We didn't think we had enough.
Well, there's no such thing. No. There's no such thing in finance as not enough. That's kind of that's a misnomer. I think that when you value human beings and you value what it is that they've brought to the table, no matter what it is, and you care about them, that's going to give you all the business that you'll ever need.
The terminology is where you ask people, if you're serious, if you are truly serious about doing better for yourself, then you can't start any sooner than right now. Let's get going. It is new, and no one knows this better than I do. People get anxious when it comes to changing things.
Oh, no doubt. It's like nobody likes change.
No, Faith, it's like the old adage, and it was a skit in old Seinfeld. If I don't go to the doctor, he won't tell me there's anything wrong. So then there'd be nothing wrong with me. If I don't go to the financial advisor, he won't tell me I'm spending too much and I don't have enough for my future. Okay, that's fine.
It's called sticking your head in the sand. We don't stick our heads in the sand, folks. Bad idea. Especially for an entrepreneur, you need to pay attention. But I think that brings up the self-awareness of people being risk adverse or risk tolerant. They can handle it, they can't handle it. Self-awareness for anyone, especially being an entrepreneur, knowing who you are, what you like, what your outcomes are that you're interested in. I think that carries over with our personalities into the people that we serve, the clients that we draw to us in whatever business we're in.
Right. I learned quickly that typically your personality is going to be reflected in your clients, and those are going to be the kind of people that you work with.
Yes, correct.
Because you get along, and that's any entrepreneur.
Yep.
Agreed. Everyone has a business model, and if someone doesn't, that's fine if not everybody fits. And not everyone needs to see the value or the joy in what I do and enjoy talking to me. I'm not the most politically correct person when I have conversations because I am speaking to a person. I am not speaking, into a recording device that's going to be replayed for eternity, and I've got to be meticulous.
Yes.
I am talking to someone else who is having all different types of conversations. I want to relate. So
Agreed.
I try to speak in layman's terms. I don't speak at people. I'm speaking with them
With
when we
them,
meet.
collaborating,
Right. I chose to have this as my profession and have a greater knowledge than the average person, I hope and think. So it is my job to educate them and to know your clients like anybody, restaurant, anything you're opening up
Being
to
a
start.
professional business coach.
A doctor, right, exactly. There's bedside manner if
And
you're
you
a doctor. There's
listen.
bedside manner as a financial advisor.
Right. It's about
know?
it's about listening carefully to the needs of your clients, listening carefully to what's going on in their world and helping to guide them in that direction as you go on the journey with them.
Absolutely. What's ironic is when I'm sitting there sometimes and they're looking at me like, Adam, we don't know anything. What are you telling? And I will explain in layman's. It's one of the compliments I get is, hey, we understand the basics and the fundamentals now that we didn't know because of the way you explain it to us. We find value in that, so we're okay making decisions. And I try to put myself when some of the clients that have really interesting jobs. Everyone has an interesting job,
of course.
but some of them that do something I'm not familiar with. They're explaining what they do. I still don't get it. I'm now suddenly I'm in their seat thinking, how would I feel on that side of things?
Right.
And I'm like, I really want to say, could you explain that to me like I'm 8 years old? Because I
Gives you
still
a
don't get what you're saying. I don't know
different
what doctors
perspective.
tell me.
Gives you a different perspective.
Right.
Which is really nice because it broadens your scope.
It does.
Broadens your
It
horizons.
does. So I'm like, okay, I want him to kind of speak to me on a more
Right.
layman's level. I'm like, what are
Hey,
you
can you
talking?
tone-
Right.
hey, tone that
It's
down
a
a little?
really cool job, but I still don't know what my clients that work in technology do,
Right.
and they're speaking in this
AI. There
right
you
this
go.
jargon, and because we use acronyms all the time in
Yeah.
finance, where
Right.
you get you go get a prescription from a doctor, and it's 37 vowels in a row to try to pronounce it.
Nah, it's all good.
So it's nice when we can relate.
So tell me this, how can our listeners, our audience, our viewers, how can they reach you, Adam? Look into the camera and let me know. Let them know. Here, right here. This
Oh,
one.
there it is.
Yeah, just tell them.
I was told I
where
had the perfect face for
Yeah,
radio. I didn't
tell
know I was going to
them-
be on TV.
Tell them where they can reach you, whether it's
Again,
ahead.
with the service piece, the easiest way is to call me directly. We've posted the direct number, but if you're not watching, my direct line bypass all receptionists, all
Quick,
all
give
other 561-226-5831.
Do it again.
561-226-5831. You will get me directly. Leave a
Perfect.
voicemail,
Thank
and
you.
we can go from there.
Folks, we are live on the Faith Washington Show page on Facebook, and we are also live on 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and iHeartRadio app. Adam Klein, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure was all mine, Faith.
Okay.
Thank you for having
See
me.
you again. All right, folks, have a great night. See you next week. Bye. You've been listening and watching The Faith Washington Show, where we have widened your view of the world. Our guests share their business, family, and fun life hacks to make your world better. Hope you've learned something to apply to your life and business. And join me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
The opinions expressed on